Anne shook her head fondly. Departing in the opposite direction as Libby and Nico made their way down the stairs. Libby paused to conjure something terrible. A final devastating parting, malediction, something to haunt him while she walked away. But then instead, she held a hand out to him, decided to be an adult. Civil, etc. Have you know a good life, she said. And Nico glanced skeptically at her palm. That's the line you're going with, Rhodes? He asked, pursing his lips. Come on, you can do better. I know you must have rehearsed it in the shower. God, he was infuriating. Forget it, she said, retracting her hand and pivoting away. See you never, Verona. Better, he called after her, pairing it with careless applause. Brava, Elizabeth. She whipped around, curling her fist. What was your line then? Well, why bother telling you now? He asked, with a grin that was more like a self-satisfied smirk. Maybe I'll just let you ponder it. You know, he added, taking a step towards her, when you need something to occupy your mind over the course of your monotonous life with Fowler. You're a real piece of work, you know, she snapped. Pigtail pulling isn't sexy. Verona, in 10 years you'll still be alone with no one but Gideon. Okay, sorry, just got text. Pigtail pull Gideon to pick out your ties for you. And believe me, I won't spare you a single thought. Whereas in 10 years you'll be saddled with 3 baby Fowlers, Nico retorted. Wondering what the fuck happened to your career while your patently unremarkable husband asked you where dinner is. There it was again, incensed. If I never see you again, Verona, Libby fumed quietly, it'll be too soon. It'll still be too soon. Pardon me, came the voice of a man beside them, and Nico and Libby both rounded on him. What, they demanded in unison, and he, whoever he was, smiled. He was dark-skinned, his head shaved and slightly gleaming. Appearing somewhere in his 40s, he was also exceedingly British. From mannerisms to dress, tweed, very much tweed, with an accent of tartan, and quite tall, also enormously unwelcome. Nicholas Ferrard de Verona and Elizabeth Rhodes, the man asked. I wonder if I might make you an offer. We have jobs, Libby informed him irritably, not wanting to wait for Nico's inevitably political response. And more importantly, we're in the middle of something. Yes, I see that, the man replied, looking amused. However, I am on something of a tight schedule, and I'm afraid when it comes to my offer, I really must have the best. And which of us would that be exactly? Nico asked, holding Libby's belie. For a gratuitous moment of conceit, before smoothly turning towards the man, who stood waiting, an umbrella hooked on his left arm. Unless, of course, the best is. It's both of you, the man confirmed as Nico and Libby exchanged a heated glance akin to, of course, it is, or perhaps one. He shrugged, and Libby, despite her disinterest, frowned slightly. Which of you succeeds is up to you, not me. Succeeds, she asked, before she quite realized she was speaking. What do you mean? There's only room for 5, the man said. 6 are chosen, the best in the world, he added. The world, Libby echoed doubtfully. Sounds fairly hyperbolic. The man inclined his head. Well, since you asked, I'm happy to verify our parameters. There are nearly 10 billion people in the world at present, correct? He prompted, and Libby and Nico, both a bit bewildered, nodded wearily. 9.5 billion to be more specific, of which only a portion are magical. 5 million, give or take, who can be classified as witches. Of those, only 6% are identified as medium-caliber magicians, eligible for training at the university level at institutions sprinkled across the globe. Only 10% of those will qualify for the best universities like this one, he said, gesturing around at NYU-MA banners. Of those, only a fraction, 1% or less, are considered by our selection committee. The vast majority will be cut without a second glance. That leaves 300 people. Of those, another 10% might have the requisite qualifications, specialities, academic performance, personality traits, etc. 30 people. Nico gave Libby a smug look, like he knew she was doing the math, and she shot back a contemptuous look, one like she knew he wasn't. Then comes the fun part, of course, the real selectivity, the man continued, which students have the rarest magic, the most inquisitive minds. The vast majority of your most talented classmates will go on to serve the magical economy as accountants, investors, magical lawyers, he informed them. Maybe the rare few will create something truly special, but only 30 people in total are good enough to be considered extraordinary, and of those, only 6 are rare enough to be invited through the door. The man smiled slightly. By the end of the year, of course, only 5 will back out of it, but that's a matter of future consideration. Libby, who was still a little taken aback by the selection parameters, allowed Nico to speak first. You think there are 4 people better than Rhodes or me? I think there are 6 people of equal remarkable talent, the man corrected with an air of competition, as if that much had already been established, of which you may be qualified or may not. So you want us to compete against each other, then, Libby observed sourly, flicking a glance at Nico again. And 4 others, the man agreed, holding out a card for both of them. Atlas Blakey, he informed them as Libby glanced down, eyeing the card. Atlas Blakey. Caretaker, as I said, I would like to give you an offer. Caretaker what? Nico asked, and the man Atlas gave him a genial smile. Better than I enlighten all of you at once, he said. Forgive me, but it is quite a lengthy explanation, and the offer does expire in a matter of hours. Louis, who was never particularly impulsive, remained warily opposed. You're not even going to tell us what your offer is? She asked him, finding his recruitment tactics needlessly furtive. Why on earth would we ever agree to accept it? Well, that part's really not up to me, is it? Alice prompted, shrugging. Anyway, as I said, I do have quite a pressing schedule, he informed them, tucking his umbrella onto his arm. The time zones are tricky business. With of you may I expect, he asked, glancing pointedly between them, and Libby frowned. I thought you said that was up to us. Oh, it is, of course, eventually, Alice said with a nod. I merely presumed, even given how eager you both seemed to go your separate ways, that only one of you would accept my invitation. His glance collided with Nico's, both of them bristling. Well, Rhodes, Nico said in his soft, mocking manner, do you want to tell him that I'm better, or should I? Libs, came Ezra's voice, jogging up from behind them. Ready to go? Your mum's waiting outside. Oh, hello, Fowler. Nico said, turning to Ezra with a disdainful smile. Project manager, Libby inwardly flinched. Of course he'd said it like an insult. It was a prestigious position for any median, but Nico de Verona wasn't just any median. He would go on, be something big, something remarkable. He was one of the 6 best in the world, and so was she. For what, though? Libby blinked, startling herself out of her thoughts when she realized Nico was still talking. In the middle of something, Fowler. Perhaps you could give us a moment. Ezra slid a wary glance from Libby, frowning. Are you? I'm fine, she assured him. Just wait a second. Okay. Just 1 second, she repeated, nudging him away and turning back to Alice before realizing blatantly that Ezra hadn't given any indication he'd noticed anyone else standing there. Well, Nicholas, Alice was asking. Nico looked expectant. Is it Nico? Looked expectant. Oh, it's Nico, please. Nico slipped Atlas's card into his pocket, giving Libby a look of pompous satisfaction as he offered his right hand to be shaken. When should I expect to meet with you, Mr. Blakely? Oh no. You're welcome to call me Atlas, Nico. You may use the card for transport this afternoon, Atlas replied, turning to Libby. And as for you, Miss Rhodes, I must say I'm disappointed, he said, as her mind raced in opposition, but in any case, it's been a pleasure. I'll be there, Libby blurted hastily, and to her fury, Nico's mouth twitched with expectation. Obviously both entertained and unsurprised by her decision. Is this an offer, right? She prompted, approximately half to Nico, half to his Atlas, and a sliver of whatever remained to herself. I can choose to accept or reject it after you explain what it is, can't I? Certainly, Atlas confirmed, inclining his head. I'll see you both this evening, then. Just one thing, Libby said, pausing him after a quick glance at Ezra, who was observing them from a distance through narrowed eyes. My boyfriend can't see you, can he? So Atlas's head shake in confirmation, she asked hesitantly. Then what does he think we're doing right now exactly? Oh, I believe he's filling in the blanks with something in his mind considers reasonable, Alice said, and Libby felt herself pale a little, not overly enthralled about what that might be. Until this afternoon, then, Alice added, before disappearing from sight, leaving Nico to shake with silent laughter at his wake. What are you stickering at? Libby hissed, glaring at him, and after a moment to compose himself, Nico managed a shrug, winking over his shoulder at Ezra. Guess we'll find out. See you later, Rhodes, he said, and departed with an ostentatious bow, leaving Libby to wonder if she didn't in fact smell smoke.